The National Treasury says that conditional grants are the most feasible option for addressing climate change-related disasters in the country. It says while several grants are available, it's not enough due to other competing needs nationwide.
We're looking at the parametric insurance. So this is one of, I think, more areas in which we're able to make funding available while there are processes that, for instance, are still looking at the confirmation of the damage and so forth. So immediately when a disaster has happened, these funds would be then released. And what would trigger those, it's actually dependent on us in terms of what we agree with the insurers in that space. Heavy rainfall, even without actually knowing the extent to which the infrastructure has been damaged, that if we say a certain level of rainfall is a trigger, then those funds would then be released, and then they would help us to start with the process of a response while we do the verification to know the extent of the damage, so that we can bring more funds that are now coming from the grants or the contingency reserve or even the insured assets.
The National Treasury says it found that during its pilot project on climate budget tagging, knowledge gaps were identified as one of the challenges to achieving the country's climate goals. Climate budget tagging is a tool used to track how much money is being allocated to climate priorities. The Treasury highlighted the need to standardize climate-related terms across government. It says cities with more capacity have been more proactive in working towards the country's climate objectives. The Treasury says it's already taken steps to simplify the process to enhance its effectiveness.
We are able to publish as a government to say this is how much the government of South Africa is spending on climate. And this is what we consider to be a priority to us. Currently, we are not able to give those numbers. And without the climate budget tagging methodology, it's very difficult to get to that number. Unlike the priority of nutrition, which will go with the basic education, you'll be able to get a program that focuses on that, and you get some amount that is dedicated to that. You can't do that when you have cross-cutting priorities, meaning multiple departments are implementing it. So where do you go and say this is how much? You need to have a way that you consolidate the information and you are able to share it in a uniform and standardized manner.
One of the cities involved in the pilot project was the city of Tshwane. Officials have welcomed the experience, saying they've gained a lot despite the initial slow start.
The city has done a lot of groundwork and baseline work, so the climate budget tagging pilot came at the right time to sort of solidify the process that the city had undertaken. So we are able now to find expression in terms of what do we need to do in order to then reflect that expenditure that relates to the climate budgeting and climate change investment that the city is making. So we found the pilot to be assisting us to then elevate those elements from the budget process.
The National Treasury says building capacity will be crucial for the country's climate goals. That discussion has been centered around a rights-based approach to climate financing. SABC News, Johannesburg.